Hello, this is the Englishoneer channel, and I'm Alex. In this episode, we roll along looking into trains. How exciting is that? Not very. Don't worry, it's more about the kind of language we associate with the subject and how it's used today, or rather, what we say and why we say it. So obviously we're going to start off with the word train. This goes back to the Latin verb trahere, I hope I'm saying that right, meaning to pull or drag. And interestingly, it also brings us the word tractor and draw. It was mainly used to refer to a cloak that was so long that it would be dragged along the floor. Brides would have trains attached to their dresses as they walked down the aisle of a church on their wedding day. Kings and noble men and noble women would travel from place to place with their guards and their servants and their family following behind them, as if they were the trains of their cloaks. Then, when wagons started rolling across the plains of America, they would travel one behind the other, and so were labelled wagon trains, which would then be used to describe the line of carriages behind a locomotive. Track. The word track is another great word. It was originally used to describe the marks left behind by animals which hunters could follow. As the animals moved through the countryside, whether through grassy plains, rocky hills, or shaded forests, they would, over time, create a trail which other animals would use. So a track became a path that could be followed and was eventually used to describe the metal path along which the trains would pass. Fast track. There are some trains that just chug along, stopping at every stop to pick up a passenger or two. And then there are those that millions of commuters catch to enthusiastically get to work and wearily return home at the end of the day. These are the fast or express trains, and they can't share the same piece of track for obviously crashy, crunchy and screamy reasons. So these slow trains can be overtaken by the fast ones while they're in the station, or there is sometimes a dedicated piece of track for these super speedy trains, the fast track. So what, I hear you ask? Aha, but this expression, on the fast track, is often used in business to prioritize a process, to speed it up. It might be a person's career path is on the fast track, or a delivery process. Railway. The tracks on which the wheels of the train sit are also called rails. They get their name from the Latin regula, which means straight. This also gives us the word regulate, or in other words, to keep things in a straight line and under control, and is often applied to straight pieces of metal, rails or railings. Off the rails. If a train came off the rails, it would no longer be able to function. So we use this expression also to describe someone who has lost control of their lives, perhaps even gone a little crazy. On track. If a situation is on track, it means it is following the planned trajectory, the right path. It might refer to a project, to a career, or a plan to take over the world. The opposite is obviously off track, but this could also mean that you are talking off topic. Let off steam. Have you ever been in a situation where you feel your temper rising, or that you're getting more and more stressed? Maybe your teacher is putting you down in front of your classmates, or your boss has been taking credit for your brilliant work. Or perhaps you've just seen how much your other half spent on clothes or video games when you've been trying to save to buy a house. You feel yourself getting angrier and angrier, your face getting redder and redder, and you just want to explode. Well, just like a pressure cooker or a steam locomotive, you just need to find a way to let off steam. Now, there are a number of ways you could do this. You might start screaming and shouting. I admit, I've done this before. Believe me, it's not a pretty picture. I look like a spoilt child. You could go to the gym and take up boxing and hit and punch the stress away. I digress. To let off steam then is to find a way to relieve your stress, your anger, or your negative thoughts. To give the green light. Long before there were cars with all their rules of the road, like stopping at pedestrian crossings and driving on the right side of the road and not driving up a one-way street the wrong way, well, it was trains that were the first vehicles to be controlled by traffic lights. Green to go and red to stop. Nowadays it's become a verb meaning to give your approval, especially in the film industry where a film is given the green light when financing has been approved. By the way, did you know that trains run on the same side of the track as cars do on the road? So trains in the UK, for example, run on the left-hand side. Perhaps I should say the correct side. Hello, I'm Colin Oscopy and this is Breaking News. We go live to Ivan Hug in the field. Thank you very much, Colin. News just in that this very cute puppy has just been kidnapped, or rather dognapped. And a very suspicious looking person who looks quite familiar is the prime suspect. In a note, he demands a thumbs up or a like for this video. And if you really like it and want to see more, you should hit the subscribe button now. The dog has not been harmed, but for further updates, click on the bell and you will be sent notifications when there are developments. He seems to be absolutely desperate for likes and subscriptions. So I suggest, guys, do what he says and give him those likes and subscribes. Back to you, Colin. Well, that's all we have time for in this episode. I'm so sorry to see you go, but please come back and visit another time. Toodaloo.